Hey guys, welcome to my moon book. Hopefully you've printed those out and you've cut them apart. And I'm going to show you how to put together the book now. All right, so on this page, what it's showing us is that if you want to create a book which has pages and you would actually create a spine like a book, then you glue page 11 down flat to your journal or your page. And then the next step is to make a big glue line right at the edge of page 11, and then right at the edge of page 10 and 9 and 8, all the way back to the title page. Okay, so here is my book with all my pages glued, and you can see them fanned out. And here is my book pressed flat. Take time to color in the title and the picture and write your name, and you're ready to begin. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to go through this book together. And I have already highlighted the objects, and I'm going to try to explain a little bit about each object and each word. So what I'd like you to do now is to pause me, and before I talk about each page, I'd like you to pause so that you can try reading it on your own. Okay, welcome back. The moon is the only natural satellite of Earth. It orbits the Earth. What is a satellite? A natural body in space that orbits around a larger body. So they use the term celestial as well, which is another term for a natural orbit, a natural body in space. And so I'd like you to highlight the word satellite. And then also, if you have a chance to write down the definition, that would be great too. Now, we do know about some artificial satellites, and those are the ones that are created by humans and then blasted off into space where they orbit our Earth. This one is a natural satellite called the moon. Okay, so next step, let's talk about this word which I highlighted. This is the word orbit. Orbit means to go around something. The Earth orbits the sun. So this is actually not a picture of the Earth orbiting the sun. This is a picture of our moon orbiting the Earth. Okay, keep going. All right, take a second, pause me, and then read through, and then come back to me. All right, please highlight the term light source. The moon is not a light source. It does not make its own light. The moon reflects light from the sun. So you can see I did my best to show a little reflection. Okay, pause me. All right, we can see the moon because light from the sun bounces off the moon and goes to Earth. And then we can see in that reflection the moon itself. Let's talk about how the moon orbits the Earth. It takes the moon nearly 28 days to orbit the Earth. All right. So on this page, this one is a little bit complicated, so I gave it its own slide. So what I want you to take notice of is that the first thing I did was I drew a compass rose because we have discussions of directions. So take a moment, draw your compass rose, then read, then come back to me. Okay. The moon rises in the east and sets in the west. So if you're looking for the moon and it's coming to nighttime, look towards the east. And if you are in the very early morning and you're looking to see the moon leave again and set, look towards the west. Okay. All right. Now, this page is a little tricky. I hope it makes sense. There are phases to the moon. The reason why there are phases to the moon is because of the way the shape of the moon changes based upon its orbit around the Earth. So that kind of depends on this picture right here, how much of the moon we can see. So throughout the month, or about 28 days, as it's orbiting, we can see either more or less of the moon. So let's go over those different phases. So it starts out with a new moon. Nothing shows. Dark sky. Then we have something called a waxing crescent. Waxing means getting bigger, and a crescent is that little shape right here. It looks like a crescent roll. Then we have the first quarter, which is kind of confusing because it's also called a half moon. And that's where we have half and half. Half you can see, half you can't. Then we have a waxing gibbous. Again, waxing means getting bigger, and gibbous means the amount we can see is more than half. Then we have a full moon, which means we can see the whole thing. Then we start to lose a little bit of the moon, and we have a waning gibbous. That means we can still see most of it, but there's a little crescent that's missing. Then we have the last quarter, which is another half moon. And then finally a waning crescent, which means we could only see a small crescent part of the moon left. So we start, we get bigger, half, bigger, biggest, smaller, half, smallest, and then finally to nothing, back to the new moon again. Okay, let's keep going. All right, when the moon is more than half lit, it is called a gibbous moon. So I tried to draw a little bit more, so Mrs. Smith is not the best drawer, but I tried. And then if you look over here, when the moon is less than half lit, it is a crescent moon. Okay, now you get to decide what your favorite shape of the moon. I like the crescent moon because it looks like God's thumbnail. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about our moon. Talk to you soon.